All right, welcome to the Astral Weather Report. I'm Jeremy Eugene Wilson with the Light Army, and I come on here every 6 days to share with you the cosmic astrological weather, the neutrino stream of energy that affects our human behavior, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you interact and harmonize with others, so that rather than be a distraction, a disruption, or confusion, it's something that you have clarity, you can not only navigate, but you can use it to harvest from, to achieve your outcomes, to accomplish your goals rather than it be a disruption. So this is for December 14th through 19th, 2025. We're coming in the final stretch of December here. And this theme's all about practicing momentum, right? It's all about precision. It's all about practice. It's all about taking small steps, creating big momentum, right? You've heard that cheesy quote, large doors swing on small hinges. Well, that's what this is all about. So this week's mental and emotional forecast, kind of what to expect, it really sharpens focus and it exposes where energy is being scattered, where you're just hoping and praying, right? Shotgun or machine gun instead of being a sniper. So you might feel a pull toward refining things, might be some frustration where you feel like you're deploying energy in a way that's not creating you an effective return in either joy or finances. It's about skill building, realizing where you could learn some skills to do things more efficiently, right? There's the hard way, there's the easy way, and then there's somewhere in the middle called efficiency. And just tightening up your execution, tightening up your strategic operation. And anything that isn't operating efficiently, you will feel some frustration, or anything that seems sloppy or ambiguous or vague or unstructured in any capacity. Anything that's not structure, it's going to reveal how much time and energy is being drained this week. So just be aware of that. You might notice just a little bit more difficulty tolerating inefficiency in yourself, in others. You might feel just like a deep desire to clean up processes, habits, and environments. It's really important. You know, when you study the emotional frequency scale, most destruction occurs where desire begins. Desire creates anger. And unhealthy desire is what we want, tied to the fear of never having it. So it's I don't want. Focus on what you do want. Start to anchor yourself in the vision of the opposite, even if it's in your health, if it's in your business, if it's in your relationships. Just you'll be a little more sensitive to things that are a distraction or an energy drain or wasted activity or motion in any capacity. So you'll probably notice a little more impatience with anything that seems unprepared or unfocused or disorganized. And this week's not really about big breakthroughs. It's more about just tightening up the screws, so to speak, that make the breakthroughs possible. The sun has moved into the ninth signature. In human design, we call it gate 9. It's called the focus. It's all about detail. In the I Ching, this is the taming power of the small, right? The butterfly effect. Essentially, the butterfly effect is that a butterfly flaps his wings and it creates a hurricane somewhere down the chain of ripple effect. So that's what this is all about, which can show up. You might feel energy scattered. You might start overthinking, second guessing, getting caught in these perfection loops. And the way to utilize this is just to allow it to reveal where you can be more precise, where you can tie your intentions to your actions and be able to measure your intentions in a strategic way. You know, tying metrics of return, either in the form of energy, time, money, etc. So it's all about like, what are the small actions that have the greatest compounding effect, and the one small actions that are draining you, right? Energy leaks might not seem like a big deal until there's 20 of them and they're compounding all the time. So just pay attention to that, right? The core lesson from the ninth signature from gate 9 is just that like mastery comes from what you focus on, and even more from what you stop giving attention to, right? When we focus on what's working and we do more of that, the stuff that's not working doesn't matter. So think about that a little bit, and I'll combine these two in a moment. But the earth has moved into the 16th signature. This is gate 16, human design, the enthusiast. It's the gate of skills. In the I Ching, they call it, it's all about enthusiasm. So the way this shows up and can become a little confusing or create a distortion is just shallow motivation. You're never going to have motivation. You find motivation. Motivation is a momentum game, right? When you start and you get going, things start to pick up. When you take the first step, momentum starts to build. In Atomic Habits by James Clear, I can't remember who said the quote, it's a famous bodybuilder, but the heaviest weight you'll ever lift at the gym is the front door handle. But that's the point. You get your shoes on, you get in the car, you walk in the gym. It's just the next step. And once you're in momentum, have you ever noticed it's easy? It's like sales calls. The first 10, you suck horribly before you even find your rhythm, before you even realize, maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe I like doing this. And then all of a sudden you're in a rhythm and a momentum. You get a sale. Now you're going to get your second one right away. Everything in life is about momentum and flow. So, the core lesson that Gate 16, the 16 signature, teaches us is just like our confidence grows through repetition, and it's not inspiration or motivation. Our confidence and our motivation comes from seeing a little progress, and it's very difficult to get a train moving, but once it's moving, you don't need as much motivation to keep things moving. So yeah, this might just show up with some inconsistent effort, realizing where you could apply consistent effort and realize where you'd be if you had done that, right? It's like the all talk, no reps. So the alignment is just like, what could you do on a day-to-day basis, whether life's good or bad, whether money's high or low, no matter what, rain, sun, or shine. What could you practice daily and refine and continue to focus on in a form of mastery to develop real skill, to compound your effort, to gain that momentum and embody competence, embodiment, right? What to avoid, what to leverage this next 6 days, just to avoid taking on too much at once, right? Try not to do everything all at once. Break big goals down into small structure. Don't make any big goals unless you're willing to break those goals down into little 6 and 7 point problem and solution structures, right? Everyone sets a big goal, break that down into the micro goals, everything that needs to happen. In fact, one of my favorite exercises for this transit is make a T-chart. If all your dreams came true, maybe on the top, write all your dreams. Take a horizontal piece of paper, the very top, create a banner and write all your core dreams, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially, spiritually. Where would you live? What would you drive? What would you do? Where would you go? What are your goals and dreams? And then 2 boxes. What are the things I would have to do to make those things possible? What are the things the universe would have to do? But when we get really clear on our controllables and what we can do, we don't have to wait for motivation. Knowing our path and what we can do is motivation in and of itself. And then focusing on those things instead of jumping between tasks. What are the things that will actually boil the water? And what I mean by that, I've referenced this multiple times, it's the law of 212 degrees. It's not the law of 211.99 degrees. A lot of people know exactly what to do, what not to do. And it's putting the pot on the stove and off the stove and not having rhythm and consistency. And can't figure out, I'm doing all the right things. I'm getting the kindling, I'm getting the fire started, I'm getting the wood going, I'm boiling the water, it's getting hot. But then I got this stuff. No, you have to keep the rhythm and consistency. Once the water hits 212 degrees, now we have steam, now things boil, now we have a momentum that now the cup runneth over, right? The pot boils over. But until we get enough consistency to hit 212 degrees, we don't have enough momentum to keep things going efficiently. So just, avoid waiting for momentum or switching back and forth between tasks. Once you have that rhythm clearly identified on that list of the things you're gonna do to achieve your dreams, now all of a sudden the universe will start showing up. It'll provide some providence. So it's just really, that's it. Just don't over plan, just start practicing. You'll learn. Mind your breath. That didn't work, or it did work. Mind your breath, step, mind your breath, step, instead of over planning. You don't need a ladder plan. Just identify the initial things and start taking action. That's the way to leverage this energy. Just small, consistent reps lead to big returns. You've heard simple success swinging singles, right? Instead of hitting home runs, just try and get on base. Just try and get on base. Just try and get on base. So once in a while, you're going to hit one over the fence. You're going to knock it out of the park. If you swing for a home run every single time, guess what? Chances are you're going to swing and miss, and you're going to feel demoralized, exhausted, and you're never going to make it on base. So just eliminate 1 to 2 distractions completely from your life. You'll know what they are over this next few days. You'll be in a moment of frustration and you'll be like, why am I doing this? Let me just cross this off from here forward off my calendar from agreeing to do these kinds of things. Just tighten your workflows, right? I highly encourage keeping a note somewhere while you're working and you're doing your sequential work. What am I distracted from? What are you distracted from, Jeremy? I immediately notice the things that I need to cut out, whether that's scrolling social media, responding to texts that don't matter. Most important, most urgent, least important, least urgent. Anytime I notice myself distracted by something outside the most important, most urgent, I write it down and I put it in the right, I put it on my calendar, I delegate or I delete it entirely. I encourage you to do the same. Like I said, break every goal you might have into simple next action. What is the next action? Don't focus on a ladder plan, just what is the next action? Because that allows you to get momentum. You accomplish one, you get to the next, and you don't need motivation then. What else could I share? This one, yeah, just some ways to harvest from this. Just do some little focus sprints. You're never gonna have just infinite motivation, and if you have, we know it runs out after about 3 days and you need to sleep for a week or adrenals are burnt out. Do a little, they call it Pomodoro effect. Do a little 15-minute focus sprint and then 5 minutes of fun. No interruption for 15 minutes moving this thing forward, even if it's the planning and the next steps, 5 minutes of fun. Just set over this next 6 days, little 15-minute focus sprints to do some Pomodoro, no interruptions to move some important things forward. Problems, right? Pleasures, things that you want to solve that keep eating you alive inside, keeping you up at night, or just a subtle buzz of anxiety. And what are the pleasant things you want to do? For me, that's record music, spend more time with my kids, spend time in nature, financial planning, accounting, taxes, better organizational, structuring, those kinds of things that some of us avoid. And then what are the things you want to do? Like, get really clear. What are just the one little things little actions you can take? Just end each day with like tomorrow's top one thing that will allow me to permanently solve this problem. Just like I said, start removing distractions, addition by subtraction, kill the distractions, start, track your progress in all areas of life visually if you can. Don't rely on your memory. Start tracking numbers, time. Look at your screen time. Look how many times you picked up your phone. Look at how many times you had a certain thought. That's the 5th time I've thought that today. Start tracking progress. What you measure grows. What you measure and track grows exponentially, either in a positive trend or a negative trend, and trends are your friends. And you can't find trends if you don't measure your progress. Just a couple questions to be with this week. What small actions, what little things would serve as big dominoes that would change everything if you committed to them daily? Where do you need to replace talking and planning about growth instead of actually practicing it by taking subtle, small steps? We're coming up on the holidays, so I'll still have Astral weather. This will be the last breakthrough lab on Wednesday, the 17th, and then we will start again in January. Got a really, really good one planned for you. I'll save it for those that are going to be there. If you want to be a part of the breakthrough lab, every Wednesday I give some of my very best training, either to help you grow your business, expand your income, or to have a breakthrough internally and get out of your own way, achieve the next level, experience a higher form of satisfaction on this planet in any capacity, personally, professionally, financially, spiritually, you name it. In the meantime, traverse this transit mindfully. We will see you again here in 6 days. In the meantime, remember what you are. You're not your thoughts or emotions. You are the light. You are the inhabitant. You are the soul in control. You're in charge. Shine the fuck on. Bye for now.